Ready?
Hello and welcome to Rhythm and Pixels, a video game music podcast. This is episode 21-8, and we're your hosts. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
Every week we listen to the best in video game music.
And eat Lunchables.
And eat Lunchables in video game music. You eat the Lunchables.
That's right.
That one's got Triscuits in it, though. Triscuits are good.
They are.
They are excellent.
I miss Sandy Duncan.
Just
saying.
Sammy Duncan.
Sandy Duncan!
What are you talking about?
I'm old. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't even know.
You remember Sandy Duncan? She used to be the lady that did all the commercials for Wheat Thins and
I thought it was like
Triscuits.
somebody we went to school with, and I'm like, I don't know who that is.
We were so lucky.
if we were so lucky. Welcome to the Oscar Mayer podcast. Anyway, we should just get right into it. On the show this week, we have some special guests. I met one of them at MagFest earlier this January, showing off his new game, Ways Lost. We have Blake Edwards and AJ joining us on the show. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the show.
Dude. Thanks for hanging with us.
Yeah. So Blake, let's start with you. Why don't you just say where you're from and what you're into and what you would like our listeners to know about you, and just keep talking to fill up some airtime. Let's go.
All right. Well, I'm from Texas. Yeehaw State. I like Pokemon.
Yeah, excellent.
That's a thing.
That's a great thing.
All right, well, we got to start that right now. So, you like Pokemon. Favorite Pokemon.
Like Pokemon.
What's your favorite?
Favorite Pokemon? I don't know, dude.
You gotta know. Come on.
I don't have a good answer for that. I want to say Snorlax, but I don't know. I'm kind of over the first generation of Pokemon.
Snorlax, I think Snorlax makes a good favorite Pokemon, though. There's nothing wrong with Snorlax.
It's true. I like Snorlax a lot because I recently played through like Red and Blue and then Pokemon Crystal on like the 3DS when they came out, and Snorlax was so good in those.
Yeah, Snorlax he's just a wonderful Pokemon. We're up to almost 1,000 of the little buggers right now.
But we still love Snorlax.
We still love Snorlax.
I think we don't just have a favorite Pokemon. We have a Pokemon that we would like to be friends with. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I mean, feeding him would be a pain in the butt, but just hanging out with him, just team stage.
He just sleeps all the time. What are you gonna do?
We all just
He's
take
either sleeping
naps.
or eating.
It's the best friend to have. Like, what do you want to do today, man? Oh, eat a burger, take a nap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
man.
it cool if I take a nap while you play video games and play? Yeah, do it. That's great.
That's me.
So also you can hear another voice on the show. That is AJ, also working with Ways Lost. AJ, how are you doing?
Good. Hey, guys. What's going on? My name's AJ. I did the music for Ways Lost and other games that Blake has developed. If we were talking Pokemon...
Oh, we're always talking Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Honestly, the first Pokemon that comes to my head is Raichu.
Ooh, that's a good pick.
Because, as a kid, I was like that basic kid that just loved Pikachu. I had like the little talking Pikachu. I had Hey You Pikachu, all that. And eventually... just like, why doesn't Raichu get any love?
Well, speaking of which, here's a question then. How do you feel about the Alolan Raichu?
I loved him, or her, depending on what gender Pokemon you have. But, actually... Yeah, exactly. But no, I loved the Alolan Raichu. Had him on my team immediately. Thought it was a cool change of pace. It's a fun time.
He's a psychic surfer. He surfs on his tail now.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I loved that, and I loved how you can use Psychic, too. That was, like, a real help for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, Pernell, what are we talking about on the show today?
Well, funny we were talking about Pokemon. I feel as though that will be an interesting segue into the episode topic, which would be influential classics. That would be music from games that are, influential in the development of future games beyond their existence. So there's some obvious ones I'm not going to name as examples. You'll get the examples when you hear them on the show get called out. But just think of games that were probably the beginning of the games we're playing now, like the first steps.
Yes. And that's why I chose the tracks I chose, Pernell.
No!
And you'll learn.
Oh, your tracks are... Oh,
You will
God.
understand.
This will be a trip.
Also, I got some of the best composers, classic composers, like
Beethoven.
maybe a little person you might know, Unknown.
Oh, that's a Pokemon.
So let's listen to some music, and then we'll talk about the games and how they've influenced us and shaped our childhoods and how we grew up to be adults with Pokemon
And misshapen our bank accounts.
and share a Valentine's Day with Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, mercy.
Oh, match in heaven.
Blake, why don't you kick us off? What would you like for your first track today?
Let's do the Mario one.
Swing your arms from side to side.
We're going to do the Mario. According to
Let's do the
we
Mario.
gotta do the Mario.
Is there ever a bad time to do the Mario? Don't tell me because I don't want to know.
Probably not.
This is the underwater theme from Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo, composed by Koji Kondo. You're listening to the underwater theme from Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo, composed by Koji Kondo, and this was selected by Blake from Ways Lost.
That's me.
That's you. So why did you want to pick from Super Mario World specifically? And maybe talk a little bit closer to the microphone.
All right.
Excellent. Listen. Do it.
Okay, so there's like, I'm sure you've heard of it, like how they make Mario levels, the technique that they use, where they'll have like an idea, they'll like give you a gentle introduction, then expand on that idea, then twist it, and then have like a final exam at the end. I call that the Mario method. I know it has like a actual name, but I don't know what it is.
It's Mario method now.
Yeah, it's the Mario method.
Yeah, it's a great
I use
way.
That a lot. I use that a lot in my games. And so that's why I picked this one.
So you do the whole concept introduction as well?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a great way to teach the user how to use the software. That is the most driest thing I've ever said in my life. It's a great way to teach the player how to play the game without having like a block of text being like, if you press the B button to jump a little longer, you can reach that coin up there.
There was actually a video which
and then
I
you do it,
appreciated.
and you get like a trophy, and it says trophy. You held the B button longer.
There was actually a video that got put out a couple years ago by one of the Game Grumps guys. I can't remember what his name is though, but he does something called
Aaron.
Aaron. Yeah,
he does sequelitis.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He did an episode about Mega Man games, and he was describing a similar concept where he was talking about how he hated how games would always have some guy popping in with like a text box like, be careful of that guy, he's got a gun, if he shoots you it'll hurt. It's like, what? I can understand it. He's like, but
that's such a throwback.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, he's
It's ironic because my game tutorial actually has somebody telling you what to do.
But we should say the game, was this the game that you were demoing at MagFest?
Yeah.
So we should say that the game you were demoing was kind of like a card game, card battler type game.
So
you kind of need a little bit more of a walkthrough. You can't intuitively.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
like I'm gonna tell you right now, if you were trying to make it an intuitive playthrough of a card battler, yeah, I would turn more people off. So you made the right call there for sure.
Yeah.
Platformers are a little different though.
Yeah, yeah.
The idea of like back in the day, for sure, you had literally 2 buttons. If you needed a tutorial for, like, press this to jump, now press it to jump higher.
Right.
You know, like, I can figure it out. Let me die twice. I'll get it, you know. But also, there's like a certain bit to, and a lot of games do this. They mentioned, I think, in the sequel last too, like, they'll have the obstacle show up in a situation where you really either A, can't even access it, you can only see it in motion, or it's in a safe place where if you screw it up, you won't die from it. Just to show you, oh, that thing will crush you if you fall in there. Don't fall in there. And then the next screen, it's like, there's a bunch of them, and yeah, you know they're dangerous.
Yeah, I'm doing a small prototype platforming game right now where you play an adventurer who dies immediately, and then you play as his ghost trying to get back. But the short stage of you playing as a living person, I have jumps just high enough and just far enough where you can't die, or you can't like get a game over, so that you can learn. Okay, this is what the controls, this is what the gravity, this is what the physics look like before you get into a spike-filled hellhole.
I'd reject the fact that you said spike-filled hellhole when you could have said pointy place heckhole.
Heckhole, yeah.
I had to do it.
But yeah, this is great. I like this. I like the slowed down version of the athletic theme type thing. So that's all good.
I do. I'm under. Actually, should we ask more about the game now, or should we do that when we go on another song?
Yeah, let's get into another song. So AJ, we're coming around to you, and you also brought some music to share with us and the listeners. Why don't you choose one right now?
Let's do Chemical Plant Zone from Sonic 2.
Excellent. This is from Sonic 2 for the Sega Genesis, composed by Masato Nakamura. You're listening to the Chemical Plant Zone from Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Genesis, composed by Masato Nakamura. And AJ, you chose this track for us because you wanted to get the party started, right?
Oh yeah, I was moshing the whole time in my studio while I was going. Hopefully everyone else was too.
Oh, there was a lot of dancing going on over. You couldn't see it off camera from me here, but I was getting down.
So would you say that this game influenced you, or maybe this music influenced you in any way?
Oh, yeah. So as a kid, my sister and I were obsessed with Sonic. Fun fact, actually, we had a little, like when YouTube first started, we did a little Sonic and Tails like show on YouTube using the game.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, really cute. But no, yeah, that like Chemical Plant, it's the kind of song that always gets stuck on my head. It's just so darn good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's so well written. It's really a bop. Every time I would play that, like I was honestly so excited to play Chemical Plant Zone just because of the song. I mean, it's an amazing level too. I love the way it looks, the design, but the song in particular really gets you in the right mood for that level.
And then the water kicks in, and you're popping up.
The chemicals.
Oh, God. Which, for the records, that always kind of boggled my mind, too. You're in the chemical plant zone. Now, keep in mind, in later levels, like there's like the oil ocean, where if you fall in the oil, you die.
Right.
You know? And other levels, where it's just normal water, you're fine. But the chemical plant is literally chemicals floating around in water, and there's a whole section where you're just submerged in the stuff. Sonic doesn't grow wings or a third eye, nothing. It's just don't drown.
I mean, maybe it's not like that kind of chemical. Maybe they're just like dumping. Maybe it's like They're just a dumping ground, you know?
What chemical are they dumping that's not going to in some way affect the blue hedgehog who has super speed powers?
Well, I think he's already mutated, so what more can you do?
Yeah, that hedgehog ain't right.
Imagine if the whole level like happened the way they actually designed it. Was like he gets out of after he's running up the corridor, before he drowns, he gets to the surface, and he just like stops for 2 minutes on the game clock, rubbing his eyes and screaming. That would be a trick.
Should have done that in Generations.
Right.
Modern Sonic, my eye!
We can make it canon.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I would say that song is like, I would love to write something that funky and amazing, just to get people just something and make you just really sit with you while playing the game, and like when you're done playing the game, it's just still in your head. You want to listen to it all the time. Like, that's some really good music.
Also, I gotta say, it's been a while since I've played Sonic 1, so I could be wrong here. But I feel like the chemical plant zone in Sonic 2 was probably the first time you really got a full sense of like Sonic like outrunning the screen.
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
He would go down the long hills and it's like you just like go off the screen, he gets shot into those tubes and gets bopped around.
Yeah, the camera wasn't keeping up with the speed, and then there was like, look how fast it's going, look at that blast processing, look at that. And I was like, wow, man.
Take that, Morphmation.
It just made it that much harder to play, but... Yeah.
Well, that's what I loved about that level too. Is like, plus there was so many different like places you can go right in the beginning. Mm-hmm. So you just go into like that ball form, you're just flying everywhere. You're like, where am I right now? What is happening?
Oh, look, a spring.
I'm a fast hedgehog.
I am fast hedgehog. All right. All right. So I'm gonna go on to my.
That's my own original character, Fast Hedgehog.
Oh yeah.
Pat Pendy.
He's a fan of Tails. And they're best friends. Best friends.
Aww.
Yeah. Anyway. I can dream, right?
They are best friends. What are you talking about?
So my first track is influential, not personally, but I think it's influential in the genre, Pernell.
I'm looking forward to hearing
That's what
this
I'm doing.
nonsense.
This is the stage theme 1 from Dance Aerobics for the Nintendo Entertainment System. That's right, Pernell.
This is gonna be something. Yeah.
Before you even like get into it, I'm gonna play the music, all right? And just know that this is one of the very first rhythm games ever made.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So this is unknown composer, stage theme 1 for Dance Aerobics.
Let's do this.
Let's dance aerobically. All right, this is stage.
The Wii isn't out yet.
Exercise gaming has changed in recent years, but this is Dance Aerobics, stage theme 1 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. With the composer is unknown, but a lot of we could speculate on who it is. I mean, this could still be Hirokazu Tanaka, but
or it's probably Bobo 1.
Bobo 1, it's Bun Bun. It's a Bun Bun.
No, it's not Bun Bun. He was all Capcom. Bobo 1 was Nintendo and totally made up.
Say, you could go with the like the funny theories, like with Sonic 3, where they're like, "Oh, Michael Jackson wrote all of it."
Right. So I wanted to choose a game that used the Power Pad because this is a predecessor to Dance Dance Revolution. This is one of the earliest rhythm games.
But was it rhythm though? It's not just stepping.
It's stepping,
but not to the beat.
On the Power Pad.
It's to a Power Pad.
To the beat.
Not to a beat.
You can do it to the beat.
Is it to a beat?
Why not?
I don't know, man. I'm like looking at this right now.
You're all into fitness. Why don't you give it a shot?
Honestly, at this point, it'd be pretty hilarious to pull it off.
Well, out of all the tracks in this game, like it's only using 4 channels. There's no samples being used on the NES for this track. There's still only 4 channels, and it's still like everything's like syncopated in a way that it's got kind of like a funky groove to it, and I really like that.
It's definitely
That's
a
really
fantastic
cool.
tune.
It's a good tune. All the tracks in this game are super short. They're almost under like 15 seconds or something like that. This is one of the longer ones.
I am watching this right now.
Are you watching some gameplay?
Oh, I'm watching Dance Aerobics right now, and I'm just trying to picture someone like, I lost so much weight, I burned so many calories, playing Dance Aerobics very slowly.
I mean, if you don't think you can, then you're just not trying hard enough, is all I'm saying.
We know the real deal for losing weight on the NES was track and field.
Track and field, that's
Also,
right.
hospital admissions.
Yeah, what was that one? The challenge one.
Challenge one?
Isn't there was one I played at a friend's house when I was really little that was like, it was like an obstacle course. It was like two characters running, and it was very similar.
So now you got me wondering what it was. It's going to pop up later. I know about Stadium Events, which is that ridiculous game that sells for like a gajillion
Yeah, I don't think
dollars.
it's definitely not that one, but it was. Maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe like that kid just happened to have it. It's probably not there anymore.
Oh, his mom probably threw it in the trash, and he's like still lamenting in this day. He's like drinking whiskey in his basement. Like, I could have had money, could have been rich. Stadium Events.
So you
We
guys
got
should,
us all those with our shiny Charizard cards.
Oh man, I would. If I had a shiny Charizard, my mom's like, honey, you just kept leaving them out on the table, so I threw them in the trash.
You've kept a lot of your game collection though.
Oh, everything.
Everything. Like
The only stuff I didn't keep.
all those JRPGs on the PlayStation.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Literally, the only time I screwed up, and I still lament this, was back, because we never really had a ton of money, but we were lucky in the sense that we had an uncle who donated a bunch of stuff to us when we went to college, because like, he was the kid who had the job, so he bought every new game when it came out. When he left college, he didn't need them anymore, so he just gave them all to his nephew, me. And so I had a lot of that. But then aside from that, my dad would buy games, but they would only come from the bargain bin. Like, games he saw for $10, like,
Yeah, we were talking about Mickey Mania that one time. Or was it Mickey Mania?
No, Mickey Mousecapade.
Mickey Mousecapades.
And Star Soldier, which apparently now has an actual following, whereas back in the day, it's the game that got you laughed at on the playground.
Really?
Oh, yeah, Star Soldier. But a lot of games he got because they were dirt cheap. But at the same time, though, there were just so many games I had built up, and it was time to get the new systems, being the PlayStation, the Saturn, and all I had at the time was the Super Nintendo, and we had the Genesis and our few games there, but we had no money to get the new system, so I made the dumb decision, went to Funko, tossed them all over the counter, the Chrono Triggers, the Mario RPGs, Final Fantasy 2 and 3, all of it. If you could name one of the hotter, pricier games that could sell on Super Nintendo, we probably had it.
And it's probably sold back to GameStop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's rough, man. That is rough. Do you guys have any stories of games that you're sad that you lost? You got any
So
sad,
I have
sad stories?
one. It's not for value, but I was going to say earlier for my favorite Pokemon game, I think my favorite was Emerald. Ooh. And I caught like everything in that game. I did all of it, and it disappeared. Have never seen it since. It still makes me sad to this day.
Oh man, you never know though. Like, go one day, just like find some old laundry in the basement in your house, go toss in the wash. Oh my God, Pokemon Emerald! How did it get in there? Like,
or you have like a roommate, and like 30, 40 years from now, he sadly passes away, and you're at his funeral. And his grieving wife comes to you and he says he wanted you to have this.
Just a random copy.
It's like, are you kidding me?
How did he even get it
here all this time?
The battery
Not
died. No.
That's a long.
After this, I'm gonna go into my old childhood like coat and like just look.
Just look.
Just in case.
I'm gonna tell you something. You say that, but and this is a real story. Back when PS2 was a thing, I had 3 memory cards for that system. 2 were black, 1 was red. Oh, sorry, black, red, and blue. There we go.
Okay.
And the red one had like a couple like RPGs I was working on. Lost the data, lost the memory card rather. Just disappeared one. You didn't know where it went. Fast forward about 7 years, I went to Seattle, Washington, to go to PAX, like the second PAX.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And I just threw a bunch of clothes in the suitcase to go. And I go to get dressed to go to PAX. I reach into my pocket. There's something in there. I pull it out. It's the memory card from 7 years ago. It had so many questions were generated in that scenario. Like, why is this in here?
What would have happened if they stopped you in security and they're like, "What's in your pocket, sir?" I'm like, I don't have anything in my pocket. I didn't bring anything. And they pull out like these memory cards, and you're like, "I don't know what those are from."
What's on this memory card, son? Doomsday data? What you got there, son?
I like you're calling his son.
It's just game information. I swear, Valkyrie Profile's a fun game.
TSA agents are like, son, what are you doing here with this game card?
Oh, they do that though. I love how we're just like stepping into more stories.
Right. Why don't we go get into another? We're having like really weird stories.
But I gotta say this story.
All right.
So you mentioned the TSA, checking stuff, right? So fun fact about me. My favorite game consoles are actually the handheld game consoles, portables like 3DS,
yeah, you're all
DS,
about
blah, blah, blah.
on the go.
And there was a period where I had a bunch of these things called penguin cases. They were zippable, like pocket containers that could hold like 16 video games a piece.
Yeah, you had the ones for the DS that was for cheap ass gamers, right?
Yes, exactly. And I had like 5 of them. All of them were full, and I would take them with me everywhere. So had them in my luggage. Got on a plane. Got off the plane, and I was about to leave the airport, and at this particular airport, they were screening bags on the way out for some dumb reason, too.
Yeah.
So they screened my bag, stopped me, and said, hey, we need to check your bag. And they go look into it, and I'm like wondering what's taking so long to get my stuff. I look behind the line. They're looking through all my games like, oh, man, he's got such and such. Look at this game. This man's got everything. And they were losing their stuff back there. I was like, hey, I need my bags. I mean, we can talk games, but do it over here with me. Don't just sit there with my stuff.
That's hilarious.
But they were geeking out.
I thought they were like wondering why, like what all these chips were, but they were just geeking out all over all your games.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I'd still be annoyed.
It's almost the equivalent of them breaking character.
Yeah, it really is. They're like the guards at Buckingham Palace. They can't break. They gotta be sour all day long. At least that's how they are in Philly.
Put your arms out. Stop chewing that gum. Oh my God, is that Mario TS64?
All right, Pranav, what is your first track that you'd like to share with the class?
All right, I am going to go with. Well, it's an interesting follow-up to the earlier Mario track. I am going to go with the athletic theme from Super Mario Bros. 3 on the NES, composed by Koji Kondo.
It's a Kondo-rific podcast.
And how? Welcome back. You are hopping and bopping to the athletic theme from Super Mario Bros. 3 on the NES, composed by Koji Kondo. And this track, well, when we talk about influential classics, I had to pick from this game, and I had to pick this track because, quite frankly, I live my life to this track to this day. To this day.
This is a lifestyle choice.
It is.
This is like
Mom and Dad, I'm athletic theme, and I'm fine with it. It's
because of the aerobics.
All that dance aerobics. I told you about buying that dance aerobics.
First he got super buff playing dance aerobics, and now he's a Mario man.
That's right, hopping and bopping parkour, baby.
They got the skills to jump off of cars, and you're jumping on all the kids in the playground
with my Karibo shoes. 2 of them.
Karibo shoes.
So, Mario 3, to me, it's a lot of times, people will say Super Mario Bros. 1 is the most influential. And in a lot of ways, it really is. It was pretty much the first, hard-on platformer. This is platformer.
Let's not call it that, but yeah, I'm good with it.
God, that crap. Mario 3 took you jerk.
I
know. Mario 3 took that formula and just went all in with it. They in my opinion, they kind of nailed down the whole starting and stopping of Mario's runs.
Yeah.
So the actual jumping, the physics for jumping felt better, but even beyond that,
he was slidey, but it wasn't like Mario 1 where it was he's on wheels, just going all over the place.
Yeah. But to me, once you get past that, even it seems so much more. When you really think back, and I'm sure there might be someone might name something that I'm just forgetting, but if you think back, to me, this is the first platformer that had themed worlds with maps, like an actual explorable map.
Yep.
And you could do things on the map, like you get the hammer power-ups and stuff from the Hammer Brothers.
I wonder, like, if this was one of the first, because I'm sure so many other games were influenced by this, like having like overworld maps.
Oh, that's what I mean. I believe this
yeah.
is the one that inspired other games to have overworld maps for their games that weren't RPGs. It's like the theme mapping, the power up variety that allowed you to like do more world traverse. Like, yeah, other games did have power ups for things, but I feel like it wasn't as common. I'd be like, hey, this power up is like something I can pick up and lose, but while I have it, I can do this thing that gets me up here.
Yeah, I do like that. Mario World took that to like a whole other level of like having hidden areas and different like keys and things
Second
like that.
exits and mess.
Yeah, the PP switches and stuff.
Love me some secret exits.
Yeah. I love the secret exit concept. Every game.
Blake, do you ever think about like secret, not codes, but like different hidden areas and things that you would want the player to seek out, or fun stuff for them to look for?
I think about it, yeah.
Actually, now that I think about it,
It sure is a thought.
It's a wonderful idea.
I believe it.
I have to go.
But this might be a good opportunity to actually go into discussing, the game Ways Lost itself, so people can know what is Ways Lost.
Yeah, we're about halfway through here, so let's talk about Ways Lost, and
right.
and let's get into that. So tell us a little about it.
All right, so Ways Lost is a deck-building roguelike game. Basically, you're trapped in a place called the Wayward Keep, and you have to get out. And the way that you do that is by going through all the events and then fighting the boss at the end.
So would you say that,
That's the game.
like, going through the games, is it a series of events that occur? Like, you start
a
out...
series of events occur.
Okay. So, like, I know there's a number of different things.
It's kind of like a choose-your-own-adventure kind of game, where you'll be like presented with, do you want to fight these monsters, or like go to the shop here? Or you could like, now I just recently put in a mechanic where you could forget those two options and then get a new one.
Oh, like just throw the other two away, but you have no idea what the third one will be? Like it's a wild card?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like it. I like how, for me, it was really intuitive. There's like a dice system that you can like roll the dice to use as kind of like energy points to spend on your cards. And to me, it felt very much like the board games that we play.
Oh, yeah.
Had kind of like a board gaming mechanic, so that going into it, it felt super intuitive. Like I kind of like understood what to do. And so I could just really enjoy the strategy and enjoy the artwork that was going on there too.
Oh, and for the record, that art is nice.
Yeah,
I
we
like
do.
the
We
monster
do like
designs.
it. Yeah, we like the design a lot.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so it's very fun. We'll have links to your like the web page, and I think it's on itch.io is like where like things are being displayed there. So we'll have links to that on our site rhythmandpixels.com, so people can take a look at that. But yeah, we're coming back around to you, Blake. What's going to be your second pick of the evening?
Pokemon.
Gotta catch a few. Gotta catch a few.
So
if we're talking Pokemon.
we're talking
Talking Pokemon.
we're talking Pokermans. We're gonna go
Pokemon.
Pikachu and Bulba going Pokemon.
This is Route 27 from Pokemon Gold Silver for the Game Boy Color, composed by Junichi Masuda. And we're back. You're listening to Route 27 from the game Pokemon Gold and Pokemon Silver for the Game Boy Color, composed by Junichi Masuda. And I was just thinking, like, somehow, like, the music on the Game Boy Color feels more developed than, like, other Game Boy tracks, but I think the hardware is still the same. It's still, like, 2 wave channels, or 2 pulse channels, a wave channel, and the noise channel. Like, it's just really interesting. I think it's just the Game Boy Color was so much later, like maybe it was since the Game Boy was released, that maybe the composers could do more with it.
That's possible.
Maybe they understood more how to utilize it a lot more. But
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, but Blake, is Pokemon Gold or Silver like important to you, or is it just Pokemon?
Yep, it was.
Yeah.
It's been, the second generation of Pokemon has been my favorite ever since. Let's see. I picked that track because, like, I always remember how whenever you would first step over into Kanto and then that music would hit, and it just sounded different from, like, anything else you'd heard in the game before. And the guy walks up to you, he's like, "Hey, you're in Kanto now."
Yeah, that was genuinely one of, like, the cool, like you said it earlier too, but, like, one of the coolest post-game elements, because, and they've never done that since, which is kind of infuriating, actually. It's like,
yeah.
It's like, you new kids got geeked for this, why'd you take it away?
That's what I always wanted for, like, every game.
Post-game.
It's like, and honestly, even aside from that, like, Gold and Silver was, I can't think of any other games before it that had, like, an active day-night cycle. That had events.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, like, setting an alarm clock to wake up at 5 a.m. to catch a ladybug at the bug park.
I woke up so early trying to catch, like, Phanpy and Teddy Ursa.
Oh, wow.
They would always, like, run away.
I loved Phanpy.
It's changed now. Now it's not about when you catch them; it's about where you catch them using, like,
Oh no, they got
the
harsher.
Niantic, like Pokemon Go.
Oh
right?
no, they've done a little bit of all of it though. Go does still have the wear, but I think Niantic also incorporated weather into the game too. Like,
kidding. So,
if it's raining outside,
Yeah.
Go out in the rain with your phone.
yeah. That's why they make them waterproof now. You thought it was the tech companies. No, that was Pokemon.
I only
Go.
ever play on the toilet. How come I keep catching water type?
Well, that's something you need to figure out for yourself.
Bathroom humor.
But I love that one meme that's it shows, like, on, like, an iPhone, it shows the alert of, like, there's a tornado in your area, then, like, right after is, like, Pokemon Go, like, hey, the weather's pretty good, you should go out and catch some Pokemon.
Who wants a tornadus?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
He's out there waiting for you. Friggin' Pokemon.
It's time for a raid.
That's right. But, like, yeah, Pokemon, like, it's probably one of the most, like, important games in my entire life, I'll even say.
Yeah.
It's just, like, I started playing Pokemon Red and Blue back in college,
Me too.
and I made friends through playing that.
Not me.
We became friends just through games in general. Not Rob, though.
No, but I was in art school, like playing, like, on my Game Boy, and everyone's, like, outside smoking, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm catching Pokemon."
You see Pikachu? I just caught one. Get out of here, nerd. But,
Like, flick the cigarette at you.
you almost hit my Game Boy.
I caught you, nerd.
That's honestly how I feel like I remember those guys.
Oh, this is cutting pretty close, guys. I might have to stop you right there. No.
But now, like, I just kept playing Pokemon. I got each subsequent release. Eventually, met a group of friends in Baltimore. We formed, like, a actual Pokemon group called East Coast Pokemon League. We still do it.
That's
too.
that's back
Oh,
when
that
that's how
awesome.
that's how back.
We
That's
started-
how long you started ago. Like
we-
that,
we
I can't even
started-
get that sentence out.
We started playing Pokemon as a group back in Gold Silver, but it wasn't until Ruby Sapphire that we actually formed the league. But I remember, like, taking the bus. This is before I had a car. I would take the bus down to Baltimore from up here, and there was a guy. He's in a band. He used to be in a band called Rare Candy, and he and I used to.
I love that band.
Oh, Rare Candy's awesome.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Is the keyboardist. His name is Matt. He and I would play Pokemon Versus all the time, and he used to kick the stuffing out of me, like, constantly. And then one particular time, we were waiting at the bus station for it to take me back to Delaware, and I had like one more time, man, one more match, and we went at it, and I had a cosmic powered Starmie. I love Starmie, by the way. and mop the floor with his team. First time I ever beat him, never let it go. This is like 18 years later.
You're like that kid who's like, I retired from Pokemon, never playing again.
Kind of did, because like I said, 18 years later, so I'm still like, remember that time I beat you at the bus station with that Starmie?
Yeah.
Starmie's a beast, but honestly, those relationships have stuck around this entire time. I've been
That's good.
continuing playing. I do MagFest Pokemon League now there too.
Oh, Pokemon is all about like creating relationships. Like, there's I read an
Oh,
article
yeah.
way back when that like the whole reason like with the link cable and everything, it was to promote people building friendships and building relationships to play playing video games together.
And that's what drives
Yeah.
me kind of nuts. Like, I'm not sure if you guys have heard this yet, but there's like a large contingent of people out there like to complain that the Pokemon structure, like the way they make the games, is broken. Like, it's trying to cheat customers by releasing two versions of the same game.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, no, it's not.
No, it's trying to get people
To trade.
To trade, right?
It's
It's encouraging people to do that.
Yeah, it's literal communication and it's encouragement. And people are like, no, but it's just making people double. It's like, no one is being made to go buy gold and silver or sword and shield. That's your choice. But quite frankly, you can't go and make that decision on your own, then come back later and go, I can't believe you made me buy this twice. Like, no. That's your choice, fella.
Well,
Like,
we have enough Pokemon talk. I think we got to get on to some more music.
that's right, Digimon.
Digimon. And we're talking about Beyblades. All right, so we are on to AJ. AJ, you picked a second track for us. What do you have?
I have Death Mountain from A Link to the Past.
Yes.
Ooh.
This is Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. And as I was typing it, I was like, "Oh, a link! I get it."
You're joking, right?
I am not joking.
Oh my god!
This is one of those things. Like it's just always been there, and I never realized. Again,
I love that though. I love that.
Koji Kondo for the Super Nintendo. You're listening to Death Mountain from The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past for the Super Nintendo, composed by Koji Kondo. This was also picked by AJ. And
Hello.
Link?
Is there someone else here, or is it just... Oh, hi. So yeah, this is a fantastic piece of music. I think I do like how silly it starts off a little bit with the timpani, but it's a marching beat. It's like marching towards
Doom.
But there's like a hopefulness to it too. I think.
No!
Yeah.
No!
So, like, whenever I played, like, I feel when I got to this point, like, he really felt like Link, the hero, going through all this nonsense, trying to, like, just get through. I don't know. At this point, I always just felt really like, this is the real challenge. We're going uphill right now. Everything kind of sucks, but we're going through.
But
I don't know. This always got me really hype when we were playing. When I was playing.
do you remember the first time you get here, though? Like, that, to me, like, when you're playing the game, like, later in the game, I definitely agree with you. Like, you're like, all right, just take Death Mountain, let's get to Turtle Rock and get down to business. But do you remember when you first go to Death Mountain and you go into that warp panel, and at the time when you're younger, you don't know what the hell's going on. And you pick up a rock and there's a portal on the floor. It's like, what's this thing?
Yeah.
And you walk in, and now you're in this horrible mountain range with black sky and lightning striking, and you're a rabbit. And you're like, what the heck's going on? None of this makes any sense. And
So
you
that blew my mind. I had no idea what was happening the whole time.
It was so amazing. And then this track is playing over all of that. That's why, like, when you were like, it starts out kind of silly. It's like, well, it starts out with lightning striking.
Well, I mean, like musically, like this section right here. This is hopeful. You know, it's a little sinister at first.
I can kind of see the hero like trudging up the stairs with his sword brandished, ready to go.
But then it goes back. You are a rabbit.
Because he fell back down the stairs. He's like, crap, I gotta climb back up. I don't like doing this.
There's no carrot up there.
Just buddy. Though I will say, like...
Duck season?
No, rabbit season. But I think that... I mean, correct me if I'm wrong about this, too, but I think this is also solid influential in like game development because I think this was the first game that went all in with a parallel world. Like, as far as like two worlds overlaying each other with slight differences between them that you could fully explore because other games have been doing it since then. But this was the first.
I think similar was Doki Doki World or whatever.
Subcon and Mario 2?
Yeah, Mario 2. Yeah, like when you find those little doors and you go in the door, then suddenly it's reversed and everything's dark. But like you can only explore that one section for so long.
Yeah.
So it's similar.
But you gotta figure too, like Subcon. And you guys back me up on this because
I
need
never
support.
heard the term Subcon before.
That's what it was called. Is Subcon.
Subcon.
Yeah, Mario 2. When you go in the doors in the dark silhouette world, that was called Subcon, the dream world.
Oh, I thought that this was like a place where people gather who are really into big sandwiches.
Oh, black
Subcon.
Oh yeah, they love the subs there. No, but like with Subcon, there was very little actual interaction with the environment, and aside from it being silhouette, it was the same. Like nothing changed.
Yeah, right.
But you take Link to the Past, you have the Light World, where say Kakariko Village, and in the Light World, Kakariko Village, everyone's happy. You can crash in the windmill, race the bird, whatever. In the Dark World version, everyone's like cursed into being monsters. There's like a prison underneath the town, all kinds of crazy stuff, and then you can just like use the. I know the mirror takes you back. What was the item that actually took you to the Dark World? I can't remember. But you would go to the Dark World and you would just like pop up in the exact same like square space that you left from the other side, except you're in a different place. So sometimes you might have to say, go to the edge of a ledge in the Light World, teleport to the Dark World. Now suddenly you're actually like on another ledge in the Dark World because it's built differently, but it's just weird. Like it made you think about exploration in a whole nother way that no other game prior had you do.
No, that's a really good point.
It was amazing.
There were a lot of firsts, not first, but a lot of groundbreaking games like that on the Super Nintendo. I would think like a Super Metroid. You know, that whole exploration was taken to a whole new level too. So yeah, definitely.
Like I can honestly say, like because you think about it, you'll hear these conversations on the internet. At least I do a lot, where people will talk about Xbox and Sony and like how they're like pushing like graphical limits on the consoles and stuff and processing power, and they like don't talk Nintendo's like Nintendo ain't doing nothing. Their games are just safe and colorful. I'm like, you realize how innovative their stuff was? A lot of what we play now pretty much came from Nintendo games. Like, there's no question about that. I'm not saying other companies didn't do better in some respects.
Right, like the Atari Lynx. So much better than the Game Boy.
Never mention that again. Never mention that on this show again. The Lynx stays in the past where it belongs.
That's your links to the past? Oh, yes.
The show is over. Cancellation.
I think I've won podcasting. I didn't think you could win it.
Oh, God.
All right, so this is my influential track, my second influential track. This is Purnell.
From the Atari Lynx, we have What Games Existed on the Atari Lynx by some guy.
This is a Sega Net, or what was it called? Sega Channel exclusive Fatal Labyrinth.
Wait. Oh, was it?
Sega MegaNet in Japan.
Okay.
Fatal Labyrinth for the Sega Genesis. This is the main theme composed by one of my favorite classic Genesis composers, Fugu, who did the Putter Challenge, Putter Golf, which is like one of my favorite soundtracks. It's like 3 tracks, and it is the funkiest thing in the world. So this is Fatal Labyrinth, the main theme.
sounds even remotely fatal.
You are at an intersection. Your blinker's turning left. Oncoming traffic is turning right. This is the main theme from the game Fatal Labyrinth for the Sega Genesis, composed by Fugu. And I chose this as an influential track because it is one of the first roguelike games for an early system. The stages were random.
You, sir,
Mhm.
you redeemed yourself. I was like, what the world is Fatal Labyrinth doing on that list?
That's right.
But now it does make sense.
I mean, like Rogue is an old game. It's
yeah,
very,
but roguelike.
but this is a roguelike. Yes,
You're all right, man.
that's right. And
But still, let's never talk about the Atari links again.
but in Ways Lost has roguelike elements as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a lot more fun than Fatal Labyrinth.
I sure as friggin' hope so, man. It has to be. It has to be.
The game is split up into like stages of 10. There's 10 stages. Like you keep going into the dungeon, playing over and over again. If you die, you end up going back to the village with the armor and stuff that you've found, and you keep buying, upgrading, going back into the same labyrinth. So it has those roguelike elements, and also the randomly generated dungeons are a thing as well. But the music is just like the same track for like the first 10 stages, and the next track for the next 10 stages. And the tracks are so short that they're interesting, but like I couldn't get into it. But this main theme is just so,
I feel like
I don't know, it's like contemplative or something. It's really cool.
The game is freaking evil.
You don't like it?
No. Let's not go nuts. I don't want to say I hate it, because that seems a little bit harsh.
No, this was the Sega MegaNet, right, in Japan. And you had the Sega Channel. This was not a Sega Channel thing.
No, I played it on Sega Channel, but I'm fairly positive that in the States it actually got a retail release too.
Okay.
But I could be wrong, but I'm positive I've seen it in a store.
But playing video games over the internet before the internet,
Sega Channel was amazing.
that's cool.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
Sega Channel. But this game, you kiss my butt. Because, so, this game was roguelike in the cruelest way. Because you think about roguelikes in the present, right? Typical roguelike game, they start you out with enough to at least kind of get through like an intro dungeon or two. You'll at least get a feel for the game. It's not until around like maybe the 5th floor of the first dungeon where stuff starts to get a little dicey. And if it's a game that has multiple dungeons, it's not even like the second dungeon until it gets dicey. This game, you can start out and get boned in the first room. And they did not care. Like you start out, there's like a twig on the ground and 5 slimes and an evil wizard.
This is video games in the 90s. It's like, oh, you want to have fun? You want to have fun? Not right away.
Not right. This
Not
game
right
is
now.
called Fatal Labyrinth for a reason.
Work for it.
They make you work. And sometimes the work is
earn
just
your
to
fun
suffer.
around here.
It's just all you earn your fun.
You gotta earn your fun.
Like a hand comes out of the screen, just slaps. Put the controller down.
We need that like on like the next time you're showing your game off at a convention, you gotta have like a banner that says "Earn your fun."
Ooh.
Like this game was totally brutal.
Did
man.
you grind in this game? Oh yeah.
Oh, you
Let's
go
talk about
grind.
grinding. So you said there's rogue elements in Ways Lost. Are you into rogue or roguelike games?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are some of your favorites?
The one that stands out the most to me is Enter the Gungeon. I love Enter the Gungeon.
Oh,
Time for them to bond. There you go. There you go.
That's my jam. Enter the Gungeon. I was
Thank
playing
you.
that before you showed up, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I popped it
Yeah.
back in. Every time I play it, something new happens.
See, this is Knucklehead over
Yeah,
here.
man.
He is the only person I know that has done pretty much everything the game has
No,
to
I have
offer.
not.
I'm sure there's more, but most humans don't know that.
I beat it
because
once.
You've
Yeah.
done like everything, it feels like.
Yeah, beating it once felt pretty good, but I know that I have to beat it a whole lot of times to see everything.
All right, how about you rein it in this time? All you. How about what other roguelike games do you play?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Rogue Legacy. That's another one.
Good.
That's a
Yeah,
good one.
that's
for
a good
sure.
one, yeah.
Rogue Legacy, I think, was my very first roguelike that I played. It might have been Spelunky. I think it was Rogue
Oh, yeah.
Legacy.
Spelunky
And I was like hooked on Rogue Legacy.
Have you ever played the original Rogue? The old school
No, I
text game.
haven't.
I had a it was like a clone of Rogue. It was renamed like D&D or something for the PC, like my old school like Tandy like Radio Shack PC back in the day, and I was obsessed with that game. I had no idea what it was, but I knew it was random every time I played it. I knew the items were always different. It was so cool.
I will say, if you have access to any of the machines it's on, you definitely should try Sheeran the Wanderer. Actually, nothing like any of them, because there's one on the Vita, there's one on Super Nintendo, one on the DS, but in some form, you should try Sheeran the Wanderer, because to me, as far as roguelike dungeon crawlers go, aside from Rogue itself, Sheeran the Wanderer is probably one of the purest ones, and like the elements and the way it conveys those elements.
Or go to the Internet Archive and play the original Rogue, where you play a little happy face fighting a world of asterisks and ampersands.
Wily ampersands, always spoiling my fun.
It's like, oh, I got a potion. I'll eat the potion. What does it do? You are now dead.
Well, then, that's the thing. Like, Sheeran the Wanderer does that kind of stuff.
Oh,
too.
it does? Yeah.
That's what I mean. In the purest sense.
Oh, wow.
Like, what happens in those
Where
games...
you get items and you don't know what they do until you, like, research them or something?
Literally, yes.
Wow.
Like, early on in the game, the items are all identified and stuff. But as you get further in, whether it be the main game or even especially the bonus dungeons, the items are all questionable. Like, it'll be like question mark sword or question mark potion. And unless you find identifying, like an identification spring or like an identification jar, which in some dungeons, you don't even know if the jar identifies stuff. It could be a poisonous jar. But ultimately, you have to try, it's trial and error. Figure out what this stuff does. Take a risk at eating this grass, not that killed you. Just like you said, there is grass that's sole purpose is if you eat it, you die.
Like stuff will just happen, huh?
Yes,
Oof.
it is cruelty. And you get in those rooms where you start out and the room is filled with monsters because it's a monster den. And you die because,
Well, there's
it's
something
fun.
there's something that's going to happen that might kill me, but I don't think it will. And that's your next track, Purnell.
Oh, it's going to kill you.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm bringing the hate.
What you got?
All right, so the next
got-
track I'm going to pick is another, I feel, definitely influential classic.
Which one
Comes
you
from
going
the
with?
game Dragon Warrior 2.
Yes.
And that is the battle theme from said game. Composed by name I can't read from here, but I want to say it's Koichi Sugiyama.
Yes, that's correct.
Boom, I got good glasses.
This is the Prague of video game music.
It really is, yeah. All right, Brian, why don't you bring us in?
Welcome back. You're listening to the battle theme from the game Dragon Warrior 2 for the NES, also known as Dragon Quest 2, Luminaries of the Legendary Line, composed by Koichi Sugiyama. And why in the heck did Purnell pick this game and this track for influential classics?
Yeah, so why Dragon Warrior 2?
Because this, unless I'm forgetting something, was the first JRPG to ever come out that had a party system in it.
Really?
So, and I didn't realize this for a while, but this came out in America in like 1990, which was around or after Final Fantasy came out. But in Japan, Dragon Quest 2 actually came out in like 87.
Oh, no kidding.
So it predates Final Fantasy.
Yeah, these games came out late in America because they weren't sure originally if there was going to be a market for that, which is why they practically gave away Dragon Warrior 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
They gave it away with the strategy guide even.
Yep.
Now, it's funny because this and like Final Fantasy, actually not, because I got Final Fantasy later because it was a mistaken Christmas gift. But Dragon Warrior 2 and Dragon Warrior 1, but most specifically 2, were my first true forays into this genre in a way that is just baffling because I didn't understand anything. So, I did not know up until this point about the concept of like you equip things to get more power, and the power is denoted by a number on the screen, and then you have to pick from a list of options to hit a still image, but you don't hit them. The game just tells you did, and then you can. It's like there's just all this stuff going on, and I didn't understand any of it, but I wanted to believe I could. So if you go to like a person in town, they give you a clue. Sometimes I knew how to interpret it to mean something. Other times I just didn't, and also. There were also scenarios where you could only get the right information if you go back to the town at night or something.
Right.
And I didn't do that.
Or after certain events and things like that, yeah.
Yeah, and that's also a large part of why it blows my mind. And I'm sure, I think all of us have been there in this respect, that you're talking to people on the internet or whatever, where people talk about, can you recommend a game for my 7 or 8-year-old son? He's just trying to get into games and play them. And I'm like, get him whatever he wants. That isn't like, beyond like your standards of like sex and violence. And I go, but what if he doesn't understand it? And I go, well, figure it out. Like, when we were growing up, our parents were as ignorant as it gets when it comes to games, because they ain't know unless you had like a nerdy dad who was already into computers,
or if you just asked for a football game.
Yeah, or if you have a football game, which they're like, oh man, does it have Johnny Unitas? Yeah, we're in. But like, for the most part, you would, they would just buy you the game because your kid, or my kid wants a game. I'm going to buy it for him. Yeah. And they just left you to figure the heck out. And you stumbled around so things made sense.
That is true. A lot of those games were also, they only had 2 buttons. So figuring things out was a little more difficult. You had to have the strategy guide. A lot of games I would rent from the store that didn't have the strategy guide, and then have to figure out like Boy and His Blob, like what was I doing in that game?
That game is so weird. Tangerine trampoline,
and that really goes into what Blake talked about earlier about like the whole Mario method of teaching a player how to play the game without telling you. It's so important. If you don't have a guide, if you don't have an instruction manual, like even like early on, like the early Atari games and Intellivision and Coleco, like there's so much happening that you needed a guide to know what to do next.
And that actually makes me wonder too, like, as far as you guys go, Blake and AJ, can you recall your earliest video game memory?
Yeah, reach back and give us something painful. No, it doesn't be painful.
Well, I was literally thinking this as you guys were talking about it. So my first game I ever played was Pokemon Yellow.
Ooh.
And so maybe not as complex as you were just talking about, but since it was literally my first game ever, I had no idea how to get out of the bedroom. And like there was, me and my dad, I'm like, Daddy, where do I go? And we're just like, what's happening? Because back then it was just 3 rectangles in like the corner. But I immediately thought of that. Just like, I was like, I want to play Pokemon. And Dad's like, what's happening? Where are we? How do you get out? Like, what's going on?
Where's Pikachu, Dad?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. I gotta catch them all.
I can't catch them all from my bedroom.
Well, no, there's a Super Nintendo on your counter right there.
There's a Grand Adventure somewhere in this game.
I think back on it, I can just picture like the poor confused dad, like, Jesus, kid, I don't know how to play this junk. I just bought it because you wanted it. Figure it out yourself.
Man, I remember being at my cousin's house. We were playing Castlevania 1. And I was so young that I didn't have the coordination to jump and attack at the same time.
And of course, you were playing Castlevania 1, so you were clearly traumatized from that
I did not get very far in that game. I got to watch my brother play a lot of that.
That game was malicious.
We didn't have a Nintendo until much, much later. So it was really always fun to go to like a cousin or family member's house or a friend's house to play video games. And I was like, my thumbs weren't like developed in those ways. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. But I like the music. I always like the music.
There's a certain amount of joy that just comes from like even recalling like those game memories, like what got you into what built your skill levels up. Like I still think like I don't know too many people that have a similar scenario to mine where I had a neighbor who had a kid, but her kid was like a late teen, mid-teen, or whatever. So she started just going out, hanging out with her friends, didn't have time for her mom anymore. Meanwhile, I'm just a little goofy kid sitting on the corner like, I'm dorky, and I'm hanging out, having fun, whatever. And she was like, want to come play video games? I'm like, sure. So I just went to my neighbor's house. She would buy video games like Bubble Bobble and Super Sprint and whatever she could find. And she'd just invite me over to play video games at her house. Like, I would just hang out, She'd make me ice cream if I beat games and stuff. Like I beat Bubble Ball.
Hold on,
and
she
I
made
homemade
you
ice cream. I got homemade ice cream. Yes, I
Wow.
with the dial, you had to turn it.
Wow, that neighborhood has changed.
Yeah, it has changed a whole freaking lot.
It's like a kid's dream.
It was amazing.
Wow, man.
But I will admit, one of the games I had to beat was The Adventures of Lolo, and I'm not sure how familiar you are with that game.
Ooh, that's a rough one.
But that game,
I know Lolo.
Lolo was brutal. That game was infuriating as a kid. But I got through the entire game, got my ice cream.
D was in that, right?
Not actually, believe it or
King
not.
Duty?
No, he's Kirby. Though it's okay she made
like
that
a
connection
crossover,
because
right?
HAL Labs made both games.
Right, that's what I'm thinking
And
about.
when they came out with Kirby, they put Lolo and Lala in Kirby, but they called them Lo and La for some dumb reason. And but you knew who they were.
Yeah.
It just clicked. But yeah, and then like of course I think they just kind of went stagnant at that point. They used every once in a while cameo in Kirby games, but no more Lolo games, unfortunately. But yeah, Lolo was the jam. And one other brutal game I played in that manner, Milan Secret Castle.
Okay, yeah.
That
Yeah,
game
I remember
is
the name
evil.
of it. I don't think I ever played that one.
It's evil.
It's evil. Is
Very
that-
evil.
That's like the theme of like our show today is like games that made you really work for it.
There were very few games back in the day, even, let alone now, that would have a track that could make you have to play the entire game over again.
Maybe
Secret
like
Castle had one of those
maybe-
where you entered the wrong
yeah.
door out of 2. You went to the beginning of the game, you had to play all the way through it again.
maybe getting to the end of
God.
Ghosts and Goblins and then having to go back and do it over again.
Yeah, but with that game is a bit different actually, because with that you beat the game. Don't get me wrong, it's still BS.
Oh, gosh.
But you beat the game, and it's like, to get the true ending, play through it again.
Yeah.
With this game, you don't even get one ending. It's like here's 2 doors. One leads to the boss, and one sends you to the beginning of the game.
I think that's going to be the image for the show. It's going to be you as Arthur throwing like Nintendo Switches.
Standing in front of Milan's castle or something.
Yeah, in front of Milan's
Yeah.
castle.
Have you guys ever played Mario Lost Worlds?
You talking about? Like, if I remember
Or
correctly,
Lost Levels, sorry.
Lost Levels,
yes,
yeah.
that game can bite me. That game is horrible.
And that made me think of that, where like when you're like, oh, I know about this little secret, and it's like, go back to Zone 1.
Yeah. Oh my
You done
gosh.
goofed kid trying to cheat.
The poison mushrooms that look so much like normal mushrooms.
I
It's
will-
just the
Yep.
it's so wrong.
I will say that may be one of the rare cases where I feel like "quote unquote" game censorship was done right, because you all know the story behind it, like why we
Oh, yeah,
why
yeah,
came us
yeah,
Lost
yeah.
Levels, because they're like
Yeah.
Americans don't want this garbage,
So
it's too hard.
Final Fantasy Mystic Quest was
Yeah.
called Mystic Quest in America, and then in the US, in Japan it was Final Fantasy USA.
USA.
Because they had to make it a little bit easier for us. But we should keep moving on with the show.
But we got to do this last thing.
Oh, what's this last thing, man?
Just the thought. Like we got to focus on like the logic here.
Rob, we have to unpack this.
We got to unpack Lost Levels. Like from the concept of game design, all right? Because everyone talks about how awesome Super Mario Bros. Was and how it led to the revolution of like game platforming. But think about it. Lost Levels was technically the sequel to Super Mario Brothers. You just came up with this awesome platform game. Everyone loves it. How do you top it? Make it harder, less fun.
Yeah,
That's what we do.
literally.
We'll make a game that is more traps. The only new power-up hurts you. It's like, there is nothing about it that makes it good.
That's like a bunch of like really sour adults talking to kids, where it's like, what happens when you get older? It gets worse.
Oh, you beat the game, Jimmy? You beat the game? It was fun, wasn't it? Well, guess what? Poison mushrooms for everybody.
For winning, you get the satisfaction of a job well done.
All right, Mario, you saved the princess. Now go to work.
I get to work.
Go back to the real world.
I'm gonna spill your bone broth on my laptop
Hey,
for
it's
now.
empty. I'm not a monster.
Okay, so now we're gonna turn the track that we're listening to down, and we're gonna get into the part of the show called the bonus round.
Bonus round. Talking about bonus rounds.
On the wings of my dreams, Pernell. So the bonus round is the part of the show where we play covers and remixes and arrangements on our theme, but we're going to do things a little bit differently today since we have the developers of a new game coming out. We're going to listen to some of the soundtrack, which I'm really excited about, which Blake is developing and AJ is composing for. So who would like to introduce the music that we're about to hear?
This is just the title theme for Ways Lost.
Oh, come on.
Excellent.
No, this is the title theme for Ways Lost.
So we've learned. Oh, you need a hype man. You need Purnell.
I do.
This is what sets the mood for the beginning of the game and really gets you into what the game is about.
Yeah,
the Ways Lost theme.
Mm-hmm. I'm ready.
The theme to Ways Lost. And this was composed by AJ. Was this you alone?
Yes, yeah. I did this all actually right where I'm sitting, where I'm recording, is where I composed it all.
Oh, great. All right, well, let's give it a listen, and we'll come back. The main theme from Ways Lost, developed by Blake Edwards, composed by AJ. That was great. I loved that. That was so much fun. Thanks for sharing that with us.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.
I also was happy. I was like, yeah, I like the. I used to play the track from the trailer. You're like, actually, this track. That was just a shortened version of what you're going to hear today. And I was very pleased with the full, because that track was legit.
Thank you.
So tell us a little about this. Blake, did you have any say in that? Like, did you go to AJ and say, hey, this is something I was like in the style I was looking for, or something in that vein?
So I actually don't have a single musical bone in my body.
Well, see,
I mostly left it up to AJ.
See, because as I said in the beginning, we have worked on, I've composed for Blake's games for, quite a while. So this one we have a good partnership in the, sense that Blake is like, hey, I want to convey this message. Here's a couple songs that I think could work.
Yeah.
And so then essentially from there, I'm like, okay, so this is the kind of theme you want. This is like kind of the sound you want. And then we kind of, I make up different ideas, different riffs, different melodies. So in the beginning, it used to take a while. But for this one in particular, he gave me the whole idea of, so, where you're lost. How do you get out? What's happening? And there was just this moment where I just had that click of anime opening. And just the melody just came to me immediately, and I knew everything I wanted for it. Blake was like, I'm all about this, and I'm so happy with how it came out.
Yeah, dude, it came out great.
I'm just chuckling. He was like, you're lost. You're trying to figure how to get out by rocking, of course.
Yeah. I picture the piano of oh, where are we? What's going on? Yeah, then starts rocking. Yeah, let's do this.
Start smashing walls.
That was fantastic. So thanks for sharing that with us. Do you do you foresee how long the soundtrack's going to be in the completed game? How many more completed pieces that you're working on?
I'm not 100% sure how long the full soundtrack is going to be, but we're definitely going to move forward with the monster battle theme next.
Great.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah, but it's actually going on behind the scenes right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Mm-mm.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll have links to like your dev blog and stuff, and we're going to keep an eye out on that so that we can see how things are progressing and look out for some more hot tracks.
And more cool monsters. We saw chocolate cake, but now
Yeah.
we need upside down pineapple bunt cake monster. 'Cause that he's going to be a real ripper.
That is excellent. Well, thank you very much for sharing that. And if you want more information about that, go to rhythmandpixels.com. We'll have links to everywhere where you can get more background on the artists, the developers, and everything about Ways Lost, the game. All right, thanks for joining us on episode 21-8 of Rhythm and Pixels, our look at influential classics with Blake Edwards and AJ, the developers of Ways Lost. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, dude.
I hope you guys had a great time because I can tell you right now, we sure as heck did.
Yeah, we had a good time tonight.
Same.
Yeah, this was a blast.
Which means you're welcome back.
Yeah. You guys are welcome back. If you have any more games that you're working on, or if you want to help promote this game in the future, just let us know. Send us an email. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So before we start to go out, is there anything else that you would like to plug, or would you like to plug your game in your own words? You can do that right now.
By Ways Lost.
And I guess I'll just say, if you want to hear any other music that I've worked on for Blake, that is all in my SoundCloud, which I think is literally just AJ Wash. Like, my last name is Washing Your Hands, Wash.
Oh, cool.
AJ Wash. Okay.
So all the other songs, that I've worked on with Blake are all up on there.
Great.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll have that up there too. If there's anything specific you want to highlight, we'll include that into the show notes as well. So great. Cool. And if you would like to get in contact with the show, if you have any topic suggestions, music suggestions, or guest suggestions, please send us an email.
rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com.
And if you want more information about our show, full track listings from all the episodes and access to all the episodes, go to our website.
www.rhythmandpixels.com.
And if you'd like to check us out on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, it's usually Rhythm and Pixels, all one word. On youtube.com/Rhythm and Pixels, you have access to all of our episodes, and we have a 24/7 radio stream of nothing but 8-bit and 16-bit classics. And if you'd like to support the show, tell your friends about it. Tell your family about it.
Give the show to your friends.
It's the show that keeps on giving.
Bake it into a cake and then sell it to friends.
Yeah, put it into a cake and then give it to your friend who's in jail.
Don't throw the hacksaw away for the podcast.
You can also go to patreon.com/Rhythm and Pixels. There you get access to prequel episodes every week now. A little bit of talking that we did with the guys here today. And we also like to give you a shout out at the end of every episode. And so we would like to first, this is all in a different order. We're going to do it this way now. You ready for now?
I'm not even sure what happened here, but
I
let's
don't
do
know.
that.
Yeah, we're going to do it. All right, so this is from, first off, Alex, the messenger, the patron saint of VGM podcasts.
Oh.
And also the host of The Messenger Presents a VGM Journey. I'd like to thank that Nick Walker, Brian Pitt, Michael Bridgewater of the Forever Sound version, whose podcast was just on the BBC radio in the north of England.
Which was awesome.
Which is amazing to hear.
He said our names once.
So shout outs to Michael. Also Carlito, Kung Fu Carlito from the Heroes 3 podcast. Bobby Arson of the One Up Funk. Wicked Sephiroth. OK Impala. Chris Marie. Cameron Worma. Christopher Shenstrom. Damian Beckles. Mike Myers. What's up, Mike? The Autistic Gamer 89. Steve Miller. David Smith. Phantom Jest. Joe Fasalo. Johan Perez. Chris Steenerson, Solus Sanctuary, Andreas Milberg, Dan Loughton, Kitsurito, Mix X Master, The Last Rican, The Dude, Reinhardt Zalkova, Alexander Proudfoot, Davy Cakes, Ed Wilson from the VG Embassy, Bedroth, Bruce Irons from the Mad Gear, and Hammock
Hammock!
from KVGM, The Last Wave. And he joined our Discord actually recently, and it's good to see him there. He's got an excellent taste in music.
That's for sure.
I do like it a lot. All right, so that's it for the show, and I want to thank again Brian.
No, it's Blake Edwards and AJ, you sleepy man.
I was looking at the word Brian somewhere.
And Brian Pitt.
He doesn't
Thanks,
mind.
Brian.
Don't worry about it.
And Brian Pitt.
Blake, AJ, thanks for hanging out with us tonight and taking the time out with us. We both appreciate it.
I had a blast. Thank you for having us on. It's been such a great time.
All right.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah, thanks for listening to Rhythm and Pixels. Have a safe week.
And remember, sleep. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. And remember, honestly, there's something to be said about, trying to sell yourself and not take what you are capable of for granted. Put out your best effort, acknowledge your best efforts, and do what you can, because you never know who needs to hear how great you are and the things you can do, and you never know who you are influencing with your own actions and accomplishments. So get them done as well as possible, and make sure people know that you're doing what you're doing and you're doing it well.
Doing it well.
Represent Queens, even though you were raised out in Brooklyn. Do it well.
That's the most specific ending to an episode we've had.